Welcome to Training Camp Tonight, presented by Ford, is brought to you by BetMGM, Ford, and by Empower Retirement. Here's Matt Boyer.
Welcome back to Broncos Training Camp Tonight, powered by Ford. Baby steps, one step at a time. That's how Drew Lock described getting back out onto the field for the first time in pads in 2020. Lock met the media following today's practice and said, even though there's a lot of hype surrounding him in this offense, he's just going to be himself.
For me, it was just being mentally ready to come out every single day from play one. That's kind of the focus I've been having, that I got to come out hot every single day. I got to be ready mentally and physically before these practices, and I come out and do my best from the start. But I think the big thing is that, it's been almost 5-6 months for a lot of us. That was the first pocket that the Qs have been in a long time. It's the first time the O-line is having to take on guys full rushing at them. Same thing receivers, getting jammed up, having to run, 5-6 routes in a row rather than routes on air where you get to chill out and, have the guys in front of you take some reps. So I think the basic things is just that this is the first time in a long time we've all been back out there, and that's what we're trying to get better at, the basics. Just kind of remaining myself, taking the shots when they're there, fitting in some windows if need be, but also understanding that, taking care of the ball is the number one thing for us. If we can take care of the ball, we're going to be pretty well off. But no, it's not going to take away from who I am as a quarterback, and it does have times in Shermer's offense where we can't show that. I've had a blast learning his offense and getting back out there with the guys and trying to put it all together, one step at a time.
You always want your quarterback to have the attitude to stretch the limits with obviously the caution and the knowing in the back of his mind that we do not want to turn the ball over, but we don't want to have a mentality of not turning the ball over to the point where we never push the ball downfield either, or try and challenge the defense in some tight throwing lanes. We got to be able to do that without turning the ball over. So yeah, I do want him to see him do that, both for our offense and both for his learning experience, just, what can he fit in and what can't he fit in at different times.
We've done a great job of prepping beforehand. We're about to get to the point where we're installing new plays and having to go out and run it. We've had install 1, install 2, install 3, ready and keep it clean. That's what I did last year. When we came out last year and we ran the first couple installs, I thought I was the man. And then we got to the last couple installs and I'm like, wow, these are kind of starting to pile up. So I think our coaches are doing a good job of keeping us ahead of schedule on these scripts and plays in general. We just got to keep piling it on and not letting it overwhelm us as a young offense.
Lock will continue to draw a lot of attention all throughout training camp. And another guy that's drawing attention from head coach Vic Fangio is nose tackle Mike Purcell. Purcell said earlier today that he's finally found a home, and it's ironic because it's with his hometown team. The Highlands Ranch native is expected to have a very important role along the Broncos' defensive front seven this season.
I think Mike should be able to improve. It's the first time last year that he had that much playing time in the NFL. And he did well with it. But now that he's been able to watch and study himself in the offseason and now has the knowledge that he's one of us and he's got a job for the first time in his career, provided he plays the same that he did last year, I think we should see some improvement with him. And I see his role being very similar to what it was last year. Obviously, he's our nose and base, and we mix him in there and some in nickel on the early downs when it's still a run pass, situation, 1st and 10, 2nd and medium or less, and we're playing nickel. He'll be in the game then some too.
It is a little different. He came up to me, I think it was about the time we got back, or it was actually when he called me during the off season. He kind of asked, how does it feel to be, a little comfortable having a position here? And I told him my mentality is not going to change. I'm going to fight the same way I did every single year. That as soon as you feel like you get complacent, sometimes is when things can turn for the worse. Or and I've battled through hell and back, and So I'm just going to keep my mentality the same way. But it feels good. So as long as as long as they know that I can play football, I'm going to give them everything I can, and I'll play as long as I can. Pads, first day of pads was good. I think Vic kind of said defense came out a little slower. I think, the past 2 days we were so on top of things mentally that we kind of, maybe got distracted by the physical aspect. So it was good that we got the pads on. You got to be able to focus on the physical aspect as well as the mental side of it. But, I don't know if there was one specific person that I was, happy to go against today. Just being able to put those pads on and get banging again. The gelling wise, when we're out there playing, I think it's been going really well. It can only get better from now on. And, now we got the pads on, we can really bang, really feel each other out, how we play, how certain things can play off of each other, things like that. But it's been going really well, and I only expect it to get better.
A lot of eyes will be trained on Vaughn Miller and Bradley Chubb on the edges, but we can't forget about the interior defensive line. Guys like Mike Purcell, Jarrell Casey, Draymond Jones, even DeMarcus Walker, all of these guys are going to be counted on if this Broncos defense is going to live up to its potential.